The Torah in this week's Parsha teaches us about Tzaras. Tzaras was a spiritual ailment which required a person to leave his city and separate from his community. Reading about diseases which require a person to separate from those around him is something that hits home. And I think it's so important for us to learn the lessons of the Metzora, the person who has Tzaras, and to apply them to our current situation. Our rabbis tell us that one of the reasons why a person would get Tzaras is because he speaks Lashon Hara, he slanders other people. A person who is not able to properly interact with those around him was asked to separate from those around him, was asked to stay outside the city, Badad Yeshev, to sit by himself. But this was not just a punishment for a person who was acting inappropriately. This was an opportunity for growth. It was an opportunity for the person to realize what he's missing, to realize the importance of those who had been around him, and to properly learn how to interact with them. In our own situation as well, it's at a time when we're separate from our communities, from our friends, from our shuls, from our schools, that it's incumbent upon us to recognize the importance of having those people around us, and also to recognize the importance of learning to properly interact with them, to make sure all our interactions with all these people are productive, to make sure all the interactions with the people around us are positive, and that we're helping the people around us and not bringing them down. I think this is especially an important lesson in the days of the Omer. The days of the Omer are the days leading up to when we got the Torah. And the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos tells us, Derech Eretz Kadma Torah, that proper social interactions, improving our interpersonal relationships, is a prerequisite for getting the Torah. In fact, the mourning that we do during these days of the Omer was because of the death of the students of Rabbi Akiva, who the Gemara tells us did not properly interact with each other. They didn't show the proper respect for each other. And one of the reasons why we mourn their deaths is so that we can learn the lesson of their mistake and to make sure that all our interactions are appropriate, all our interactions are positive. And this will be the prerequisite. This will be the way we prepare to get the Torah on Shavuos. I'd like to share with you a beautiful story about two girls. Two girls who grew up together. They were best friends. They did everything together from a very young age. But as the girls got older and they finished high school, they went about their separate ways. One of the girls got married, raised a beautiful family, and was very successful in everything that she did. And the other girl was not so much. She never got married. Her job never took off. Financially, she struggled, and she really struggled with everything she did. And over time, she got more depressed, she got more down, and life was getting harder and harder for her. One day, she came home, and she found a letter from her old friend. And the letter described how her friend had been talking to her daughter about the good old times, the time she used to spend with her friend. And she said, I thought that maybe we can reconnect, maybe we can get our relationship going again, maybe we could become friends once again, you could meet my family. And the woman read this letter and she started crying. She had been on the verge of making a terrible decision, and this stopped her from making that decision. And they got together, and the two women, they increased their relationship. This other woman became almost like an adopted aunt to her family, and it totally saved her life. And I think we can learn a lesson from that story. We have to look at those around us. We have to look at those who perhaps are not as fortunate as us. We have to look at ways that we can interact with the people around us. We have to look for ways that we can help the people around us. And if we can use this opportunity, we can use this situation to be a time of growth, to be a time to learn all the lessons of proper social interactions. And we could commit that when we leave this situation to only improve our social interactions, to only improve our relationship with other people, with fellow Jews, with fellow people, with all the members of our community, then I'm sure Hashem will look down on us. He will smile on us. He will have nachas from us, and He will bring us a quick salvation. Have a great Shabbos.